The translation from Chinese to English is, from the pain that seeps into one's bones to a sense of ease throughout the body. What magical properties does this mysterious black soil possess? The pain throughout Hex's body was caused by old flogging injuries, inflicted by servants from the courtyard, as well as general knocks and bumps. Combined with yearly malnutrition, it all piled up together. But now, Hexie refused to give in to this pain. She tightly closed the door and windows, confirmed that no one was around. Then she quickly laid down on the bed. Her consciousness became vague, her soul seeming like it was pulled from her body. After opening her eyes again, her consciousness had entered her space. This space had accompanied Hexie for more than 10 years. The furnishings inside this space, just by closing her eyes, she can remember it all. It couldn't be more familiar to her, but the scene that was reflected into her eyes surprised her. This is still the space in her memory, right? In her previous life, this space was a wasteland. Even the air permeated a deathly smell. It's different from the descriptions used in the popular web novels in her previous life. The land inside the space, all was sand and gravel. It couldn't be used to cultivate. No living thing could be brought into the space, including Hexie herself. She could only use her consciousness to enter, leaving her physical body to sleep on the outside. In the middle of the land there was a palace called Zumi Palace. Hexie had been bored on several occasions and had explored, finding that there were 81 rooms altogether in the palace. However, in Hex's previous life, these damn rooms, even after she had used countless methods, not even one room could be opened. The only thing in the space that could maybe be considered a treasure was the expanse of spring water in front of the palace. It possessed a healing effect, helping to heal all sorts of injuries and even improving eyesight. Another example is that it can help people to heal bone-deep cuts and muscle injuries, speeding up the healing process with a better result than if healed normally. Therefore, in her previous life, Hexie had regarded this space as a moving warehouse and made use of it as her medicine deploy room. However, the space before her eyes and the space in her memory were completely different, making Hexie doubt whether or not she had entered the wrong place. The land that had originally been filled with sand and stones had been replaced by peculiar black land. The air was no longer permeated with a deathly smell, rather, it had a clean air. The pure spirit in the air could make a person's body and heart entirely intoxicated. The cells in her body felt energized, greedily absorbing the air in here. Originally, her entire body, that had been filled with pain and weakness, was now unconsciously replaced with a relaxed feeling. Hexie took a deep breath. Squatting down, she gently grabbed a handful of black soil and brought it to her nose to smell. Although not an expert in planting and growing medicinal herbs, even she can tell that this black soil obviously contains strong nutrients and spiritual energy. It couldn't even be compared to the previous sand and stones. How can the space change so much? Hexie released the black soil in her hand, a burst of indescribable excitement forming. Could it be that because of the explosion in her previous life, her space upgraded? Another time she would have to bring some seeds to test this black soil. How fertile the black soil was and how well a spiritual plant would grow. It would be very interesting to see the results. Hexie walked forward happily, heading to the place she had previously used as a storage room. Sure enough, as per her expectation, all the stored medicine from her previous life was destroyed. All those bottles and jars had disappeared from the explosion, including the bottle of cursed poison, which needed only one drop to be able to destroy an entire city. Allure. But some things still remained, such as the invisible needles, also some properties used for her disguises in her previous life. Hexie bent down, scooping some water with her hand from the spirit spring to drink. But once the water from the spirit spring was swallowed, she suddenly felt an overwhelming sensation rising from her stomach, clearly visible to the naked eye. A stinky black grease spilled forth from her entire body. Hexie was greatly shocked. Previously, when she would drink this spring water, it would relieve her fatigue and nourish her internal organs. How can it be possible for the result to be so different this time? Such a change lasted for a few minutes, resulting in Hex's entire body being covered by the dirty black grease. Her body issued a nausea-inducing stench. However, where she had originally felt pain and weakness of the internal organs, on the contrary, She now felt relaxed. Hexi quickly stripped and, using the spirit spring water, she washed away the filth on her body and clothes. Once she was clean, she felt refreshed, her whole body full of strength, like she had been reborn. Could it be that not only this space upgraded, but even the spirit spring upgraded? Like in a legend, the spirit water would not only heal injuries, it would now even remove impurities within the body. Hexi was overjoyed at this turn of events. After dressing in her still slightly damp clothes, she was stunned when she accidentally saw her reflection in the spring water. In her previous life, Hexi could be regarded as a beautiful woman, but compared now with the little girl in the spring water, it is simply the difference between dog-tail grass and a flower. The ripple in the clear spring water reflected the little girl's tender and snow-white skin. A pair of ink-like phoenix eyes slowly opened. They were not charming and flirtatious, rather they were like the darkness under the starry sky, a vast, resplendent expanse. The red lips were no longer chat and cracked, instead they were like peach blossom petals, glossy and delicate. The upper lip was slightly raised, as if in silent invitation. Hexi touched her face in shock, the spring water reflecting the little girl, also touching her face. Two long, delicately curved, shapely eyebrows wrinkled in confusion, like a budding flower that attracted tender affection. There are words that describe an ancient beauty. Hands are like soft weeds, skin is like congealed fat, a neck like longhorn beetle larvae, tooth is gorged sharp. With one look, can overturn a city, a second can overturn a country. Every word and every sentence now resembled her born-again self. Heavens, this is Nalin Hex's true face. Hexi opened her eyes wide. She felt her brain has been too confused and was about to crash. Where did the saltless, ugly woman go? This was simply a beautiful woman that was capable of causing the downfall of a city or country. How depraved was the Nolan family to actually torture this beautiful woman until she looked malnourished and sickly, reducing her to an unremarkable appearance. Hexi took a deep breath and, looking at the reflection of the stunning beauty in the spring water, she couldn't help but frown. Maybe she was here to express her gratitude towards all the people who tortured her. Otherwise Nalin Hex's memories would not have come to Hexi the moment she received her body. In her memory, although the next generation in the Nalin family all looked handsome and beautiful, there was definitely not a beauty with such a tragic life. If Nalin Hexi were to go out with this appearance, it would not only cause a sensation, but disaster. Nalin Manor thought of her as an illegitimate child, and hadn't moved to help her previously, leaving her to suffer like a pig in a cage. With her past appearance making many people fight over her to become their furnace, with her now being like this, if she were to just go out many more people would fight over her. With this thought, Hexi made a prompt decision, picking up the disguise kit that she had earlier placed beside the spring water, and applying it on her face. Needless to say, Nalin Hex's face is definitely a source of calamity. Currently she didn't have the strength to defend herself if her appearance were to be exposed in front of people, and she absolutely did not want to attract disaster. In a short time, and with a little effort, Hexi completed her disguise. She bent down and studied her reflection in the spring water, now an ordinary and pale appearance, once again resembling the previous Nalin Hexi. Well done. Hexi flicked her finger, feeling her mood become good. As a woman she was pleased with her appearance. Who wants to become ugly? Besides her space being upgraded and her changed appearance, she also found out that after she had drunk the spring water, her internal energy has been fully recovered.